Make it quick.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Simpson. Stop touching my boobs and welcome back to Krown's magical dips and cave.
You heard the girl. Stop. Stop touching my boobs right now. Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a lovely Thursday. Is it Thursday? I think it's Thursday. Hey, it's Thursday somehow. What the fuck? It's Thursday. Hey, happy Thursday out there in cryptocurrency land. Doesn't matter what day it is because, as you know, time is an arbitrary and human construct, which means absolutely nothing. We're always in the present, my friends. And with that said, we got plenty to talk about today. Bitcoin initiating the bounce that we spoke about yesterday. I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now because we're already getting a little bit flustered. Jesus Christ. Can you stop over there for the love of God? Anyways, with that said, we do have a lot to talk about today. We did get the bounce that we were looking for yesterday, all the way up to 44,500 minimum. But is that going to extend today or not? Well, probably, yeah. Anyways, with that said, we'll get into it in the short and medium term time frame soon enough. And first, we'll start off with the Krown Chain application over here, which we found at app.krownchain.net. And what do we see? We see actually a lot of very interesting things going on right now. Bitcoin dominance continues to go up, uppity, which is good, as Bitcoin led rallies or bounces is going to be, well, at least a little bit of hopium. Although you would expect that Bitcoin is going to soak up alts regardless of whether Bitcoin goes up or down on an actual directional move. When I say a directional move, I mean a Bitcoin directional move for the overall market direction, not necessarily like, what we've seen over the past couple months here, which were actually led mostly by altcoins, in fact. Anyways, on top of that, Fear and Greed Index is actually at the lowest level that we have seen in the past, almost 2 months now, actually, all the way down at about a 21 read. So we are within the somewhat fearful zone, and, a bouncy bounce within this region is to be expected, just, somewhat based off that, of course, amongst other things. That would be more of a secondary or tertiary sort of confirmation tool. Anyways, on top of that, as far as the top 10 best coins go, we actually see a lot of winners today. Some big winners too. Arweave, Terra, Cosmos, Avalanche is just always fucking on there. Phantom, Perpetual, Protocol, Axie Infinity, Tezos, and Elrond, all with double-digit gains, actually. Pretty damn good. Of course, I want to point out Interactive Brokers over here. I've been getting a lot of questions about this. Yes, if as an American citizen, this is, at least in my opinion, the best way to be trading Bitcoin on leverage without having to fucking go through all the hoops of the Wild Wild West crypto shit exchanges. Probably wouldn't suggest that, if you want to be legally compliant, which is probably a good thing to do in today's day and age. So definitely check that out if you're interested in such things. And then more importantly, we do have the Krown Crypto newsletter, which is 100% free right now, by the way, as well, which you can check out at a moment in time. And a new edition actually just came out. So check it out. My man Roger is completely, he's very, 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 very well versed. He's actually an incredibly good writer as well, apparently. I read his writing, damn, man, not only do you have good ideas, but you also are a pretty lucid writer, and it's right there for you whenever you so decide. Anyways, into the market data tab we go. There's actually a lot of very important things to be speaking about right here. Global funding rate is, of course, negative and has been trending negative for the past week or so, and it's more essentially been actually trending down, most importantly, ever since early September. So with that in mind, do I essentially align with the views that Bitcoin is going to, that this, whatever potential downside move we see here is going to extend past 30,000 bucks? I do think that that's still rather unlikely. I do think that whether you're bullish or bearish, Bitcoin's probably either putting a low somewhere here at about 40,000 bucks, or if not, then 32 to 33,000 bucks. I think that 38,000 bucks is absolutely fucking irrelevant. I do not understand. Well, I do understand why people are looking at that level, but I don't believe that it's relevant for anything that. I just don't think that it's fucking relevant. How about that? I don't think if Bitcoin gets down around there, I do not think that it'll be a low. I think it'll just be a bounce, to put it point blank. Period. And well, you kind of see that already, right? Bitcoin already got that move down to just below 40,000 bucks. That was essentially testing that prior low. At least in my opinion, that was your chance if you were looking for something resembling that. Because, typically speaking, when the market is somewhat on the same side of a trade, looking for the same sort of areas, of which I think that 38,000 bucks was rather popular as of recent times. Usually it gets front ran or absolutely fucking overshot, and right now it's gotten front ran, and so I do think that the next one that comes down around there is going to be a fucking shellacking to the downside after maybe a small bounce. Anyways, more importantly over here, before I get more sidetracked, we do see that open interest coming down significantly as well. So we do see that funding rates are going down, meaning negative, meaning that you are paying to hold your shorts right now. So shorts are paying, which you should when the daily and weekly trends are to the downside. That does make sense. But we also see that open interest coming down, and of course the global leverage ratio is also coming down as well. What does that align with? Well, again, a little bit more Boolah-ish hopium, which we'll actually expand on soon enough as well. So I'm keeping a keen eye on this, because as the market deleverages itself, this is actually a good setup. This is obviously a spot-driven rally. And well, I mean, also, shorts coming off the board as well is going to put a little bit of buy pressure on. But with the leverage ratio coming down alongside that, then that would imply that actually it is going to be a spot-led rally, as obviously leverage ratio coming down implies that, well, spot versus leverage essentially positions is going to be more in favor of spot in this case. And with price action going up, well, you can say that is, or you can probably deduce that is driven by spot, of course. Anyways, which is a good thing long-term, obviously, which is a good thing long-term. Anyways, into the fourth data tab we go. A couple of very important things right around here. Hash rate still stays high, which is good, but more importantly, the whale ratio stays down. It remains within its overall downtrend. So essentially what this implies is that, or theoretically what it implies is that there's less selling pressure on price action from big accounts, which is typically a good sign. Anyways, into the price action charts we go. This one is going to be a fun one, I do expect. And what do we see back on over here? So I want to bring you over to CME chart, the big chart that we were working with yesterday, of course. And what did we say? We said a bounce off of, let me actually put on the drawing tools right here. Yes, a bounce off the 382 is extremely likely to get up somewhere around the 618. I said a minimum target of about 44,500. It looks like we've pretty much just gotten there, although we're about $55 short right now. So fuck Krown. Krown's wrong. Hang him, burn him, and fucking cut off his fingers too, because why not? Anyways. This is very interesting right here, because today actually probably does confirm a lot or deny a lot in terms of bullish or bearishness. So at the end of the day, again, as long as Bitcoin is below its last prior high, which is $48,000, technically speaking, the trend is down and, kind of have to be going with the trend. Can Bitcoin travel up anywhere between about 45.5 to all the way up to 46.5 and still remain within that daily downtrend? Yes, absolutely. And that's essentially what I would be looking for probably over the next couple of days here. I do think that Bitcoin very likely does extend this rally, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, kind of similar to yesterday, although yesterday we first had that test back down around the prior daily lows, which we did say was likely as well. Now getting lift off from there, and actually CME getting a very, very conclusive closure yesterday as well, with a lovely girthy green dildo back above the 200 moving average right there on volume as well, which is good, which is good for the hopium of the bulls, again in line with what we do see in the underlying market dynamics. Again, I will not be calling any sort of confirmed bear traps as long as Bitcoin's below $48,000. That's just my personal rules. Before it was 49.5, now I move it down to 48 even actually. And until then, short-term timeframes are probably going to rule the picture right here. So with that in mind, let's bring up our momentum oscillators, and what do we see? We see that BBWP is actually still kind of coming down right here. The moving average on this does stay positive, however. So with that in mind, I do still look at this I look at this as actually curtailing itself, and we're very likely constructing something new, of which in that case, I mean, as long as Bitcoin's above the 200 simple, I do think that this probably ends up being a bear trap. Now, of course, I've said that before, and it doesn't work out, but at the end of the day, it offers up an edge to actually be judging something off of. Confirmation is going to be about $48,000, and I do believe that that is available from our current level as long as Bitcoin's above $43,000 on a daily total closure. Why is this level important? Well, it's actually very, very important, or what is in between it that's important is actually right on over here with not the 4 hour, but the daily. We do see that daily Stokes will actually be crossing back up and rejecting getting into the bearish control zone, by the way, as well, with any sort of a closure today above 44,400 or so. So if that does happen, which by the way, this would also be considered another trend line test actually back on over here as well, which did catch our lows in middle of July actually. Yeah, back off this bear trap right here. And does this potentially work out as bear trap as well? Perhaps yes. I don't think it's going to happen like today though. But again, you can kind of see that there is a bit of that in the vicinity. So it is possible, it is potential. You kind of see a way forwards. Again, trends are down though. So at the end of the day, I don't think that I think that it's rather prudent to not be front running something like this until that actually happens. And until then, personally speaking, I mean, I don't even really trade these timeframes. I trade the lower term timeframes right now because volatility is rather high, especially on the lower term timeframes. So there's a lot of opportunity here. Anyways, go actually down to the lower term timeframes right here and see what we got going on. 4 hour has something very interesting to me, and I've called this out many times in the past, and that is one of these sort of I wouldn't call it fake, but I call it like the bait and switch death cross, and it also works with golden crosses as well, but it actually works a little bit, or it looks a little bit worse on spot. Yeah, indeed. Whenever you see a cross like this that's very, very far away from price action, typically speaking, you'll chop around a bit, and it won't play out all that well. You really want to see it actually a lot closer to the current price action when that cross does happen and a test into it. We have not gotten that. Obviously, this happened way long ago. So at the very least, I would probably be looking for an extension of this bounce, maybe after a bit of a short-term pullback here on the hourly, which we'll get down to in just a few minutes. Let me actually go back onto CME because this one's a little more obvious. Because if Bitcoin does start to pop back above in closed 4-hour dildos, especially above the 200, but even above the 55 right here, which are almost one and the same right now at about 45, let's just call it 45 200, kind of cut it to the middle right there. They're pretty much again the same anyways. Then I would extend short-term targets again all the way up almost to 47,000 bucks. And again, that would still be a lower high on the daily, but you can then see how the bleed-in effects would happen on daily momentum oscillators over here, popping back above. Of course, that would imply that the condition is met above 44.4, and then the 12 hours obviously already precipitating this. Let me get rid of this right now at 40,350 or so. So that does look good. Of course, very low term time frames probably gonna be ebbing and flowing here. Yeah, 4 hours at 41.4, and hourly is probably actually up right now at 43,850 or so. So very, very short-term timeframes, I imagine, probably do pull back. But before we get into that, again, I do want to point this out from what I spoke about yesterday, which I had actually a really big focus on yesterday as well. At the beginning of the video and at the end of the video, and this is the PMARP. This indicator, like, I actually really like this indicator. Not for nothing else other than just judging bounces and pullbacks. It's actually phenomenally good, and I feel good about it too because I had a hand in actually making this one. Although I didn't code it myself, obviously that is credit to Caretaker, but you know, it's just one of these things that I love. Anyways, so what am I essentially talking about? I'm talking about an indicator over here that measures the distance that price action is away from a current, from a current moving average. Right now, I'm using not there. I'm using a volume-weighted moving average, 20 period right there, and of course I'm using the percentile function. So then it ranks it in percentile functions right there, and we came all the way down to the first green level that I have marked off right here, just above 5, actually 5 spot. Doesn't need to be super exact, but anywhere around there has been indicative of bounces within the current context of the macro trend. Within the context of this indicator. And of course, if we do get into the lower end of this, we do see that sometimes, but only during very, 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 very intense and somewhat, I wouldn't say rare, but not very often, Bitcoin moves. So for example, very, very aggressive ones that we've seen back on over here in late May, of course, did actually hit that level. The last time before that was actually in coronavirus dumb times. But if we are just talking about the top level of this, we do seem to hit this relatively consistently within the current context of, of that macro trend. And it typically is a pretty nice area to be, dare I say, being interested in. I'll just say that. Last time we hit it was back on over here, and that was about 31,000 bucks before a nice 20% move to the upside. And then of course we actually put in another drive here on the bear trap, the confirmed bear trap that we saw in late July. And then of course the time that we saw before there was right on over here in late January of this current year as well, before this massive move to the upside. And then of course the time before that was during this reaccumulation. Again, I do kind of stand by what I've been saying, that this is actually very similar to what we're looking at right now as well. And then of course, before that, we have several other attempts. It does not always mark off a macro low, though. In fact, most often it just marks off a bounce. As you can see, the macro trend does matter, but it does get those nice bounces nonetheless. And it looks like we are going to get our short-term time frame pullback here first, which is to be expected after a nice little, pretty much unabated rally from 40,000 to 44.5 or so. Anyways, go down to the hourly right here. I'm going to go over to BitMexico for this one. And what are we looking like? Probably does come back down somewhere in the mid $43,000 territory or so. But I'd like to come up with ranges right here and where it starts to kind of change around my overall ideology. And I suppose that would be below 42,000 bucks now. That is going to be sort of the line in the sand for the short-term timeframes for myself. And then of course, I think it was 43 for CME on the daily specifically. Let me just double check. Yes, it was. Okay, 43,000 bucks on a daily for CME. As long as Bitcoin's above there, I still give the Bulas a chance to put in a major low right here. And confirmation of a bear trap will be above about 48,000 bucks. Short term though, very, very likely a pullback, and then medium term, very likely a bounce from there and work our way back up somewhere around about 45.5. On both CME and spot price action. And the Bitcoin starts to close back above there, then I'd extend that target all the way up to just south of 47,000 bucks. And that's going to start to look a lot interesting. Again, would still just be a lower high as long as it's below about 47,000 bucks, but maybe those moons start to work for the Bulas right here. Hey, what the fuck is going on over here? Am I getting hacked on my ledger or something? Like what the fuck is What the bastard is going on? I don't like this, man. Whatever the fuck it is, not good. I've never gotten those messages before. Maybe I should actually check. Should I check? Maybe I should check. Hold on. Let me just double check. You know what? If it all goes, then it all goes. There's all magic internet money in it anyway, so who gives a fuck about it? Probably I do, because there's a decent amount on there. Anyways, okay, yes. Okay, so while we're at here on the 4 hour, I do want to call out that jewel signal that we did see yesterday. That was also kind of driving into my analysis that we very likely do see a bounce off that region. This is playing out now, but we are going to come into short-term resistance relatively soon. Maybe not on this tick, or in fact, probably not on this tick, but very likely on the next one or the one after that around the 12-hour closure, which makes me wonder, how's the 12-hour looking right here? 12-hour has lost its downside curvature and is not printing a bullish signal, obviously, but it is. It might on the next tick here, but we won't know for another 6.5 hours basically. So not very helpful right now. And then of course we did close a 5-day yesterday, and the 5 days rather interesting to me. The 5 days still obviously bearish right here. Well, the 5 days still obviously bearish right here. I don't really have anything to add to that. In fact, I'll just leave that as it is. CME did close actually 5 days as well at the same time, and the CME 5-day actually does look significantly better than spot price action. But if I am going to be, clear right here, if Bitcoin does take another leg down, it'll very unlikely be $38,000. It will very, very likely be somewhere around $33,000, give or take, 1,000 from that territory. And I don't really have a proclivity right now towards which one happens. I technically speaking, I should be looking further down as long as Bitcoin is below about $48,000. But I'm pretty open-minded right here. And again, for myself, I'm only really trading the lower term time frame, so it's not too relevant. And again, short term time frames very likely come back down somewhere around low 43. At the very least before this is all said and done. And personally speaking, I think we might even test around 42.5 or so, and that'd be a lot more interesting. Anyways, okay, all right. Is it time to get into the chatties right now? Oh yes, we should also go off of traditional marks as well, because this was a big topic of yesterday's video. And what do you know? We did say that this was actually the more obvious bounce over here now, wasn't it? And we did take out the prior daily high on the 21st of September. So this is your nice local low for now on NASDAQ. And again, same thing over here. I'd be looking for a move somewhere around about 15,300 or so. We'll do SPY as well, because I know King Cosmic is here, so we'll get him. We'll get him situated real soon. But I do want to call this out as well. Multiple drives of hidden bullish evidence coming off the lows. So again, regardless of whether I'm bullish or bearish, I am looking for a move somewhere around 15,350 or so. And then how does that kind of correlate with Bitcoin? Typically, they're going to play very well with each other. And we are coming into a bit of fib support on the daily jewel there as well. Anyways, to go down to the very low term timeframes, this is continuation. Actually, in fact, this would say that we probably don't pull back first before trying to move towards 45, as I imagine that's probably gonna be somewhere around about 15.3 or so for NASDAQ right here. But let's see how SPY is holding up in this. And yes, we are getting our move towards 4,400. Hey, not bad. That TA bullshit works around every once in a while, every fucking once in a while. And I'd probably be looking for this to extend a little bit more. Mr. King Cosmic on the daily, 44.15 or so is where I'd be looking towards. And then where does the daily close? If it starts to close above there, I'd extend targets probably somewhere into the mid 4400s. 44.50 to 44.60 is where I'd tentatively be looking at. And if we go back down to the hourly right here, kind of same thing as NASDAQ, you can see very likely does extend the move towards 44.15 to 44.20 or so. Very likely a short-term pullback from there. And then do we start to clear above there or close the daily above there? Then extend targets a little bit more. But again, when you're looking at a chart like this, it is, this one's obviously fucking bearish because we're in a downtrend right here. We do have a high, we do have a low, we do have a lower low, and we have a lower high already. So as long as this thing's below, especially, what is it, 44.80, it's not looking too super great. But who knows what the fuck Jay Powell is going to say later today, or maybe nothing at all. And this can be considered our first test to the 21 exponential moving average in about 6 months or so, going back to March. Wait, March is month number 3. We're in September. Yeah, about half a year ago, basically. So, very likely to bounce right here. But forgive me if I do say that this does look, rather toppy, probably coming into September, or sorry, not September, but October, after, a short-term move back up to 44.50 to 44.60 or so. Okay, you're reconnected now, so I think we're good. Okay, we're good. All right, cool. Sorry about that. But hopefully that all got on there, and we can move on now. And I will get into the comments right now. I'm going to turn on the alerts. I have too much porns on my computers, but that's what I bought all this storage for. What the fuck? You telling me that it's useless? Useless? To love it all says, greetings, Krown. How's your day today? Man, it just got started. I've been up since like 5:30. So actually, okay, that was not another reconnection thingy, but you're looking at AMBA stock on the daily weekly. Thank you for confirming that it is indeed stock as well. I believe this is also a crypto as well. Holy shit, powerful on the 5-day, powerful on the daily. This is a breakout, no doubt about that. And is this a breakout in new all-time high structure? It is. It is very much indeed. Let's see. Okay, so whenever I see something like this, blue sky breakout, there's not really too much to do except for look at a little bit of bought and algo targets, of which we are in a continuation phase right here as far as the weekly goes. Maybe a short-term pullback at around 169 or 170, a great number as well, but I don't think that that's where things actually end. I do think that this one very likely finds its way towards 180, maybe even $200, but yeah, about 180 to $200 or so is where I'd be looking towards on the long term. Yeah, J Powell already talked, but I mean he's gonna fucking talk again. You know how it goes. You know how it goes, sirs and zers. But yeah, looking at this right here, continuation is the name of the game. Short-term timeframes though, I mean even short-term timeframes are continuation right here as well. Nothing bearish about this chart, especially as long as you're above 145 or so. Below 145, I would invalidate this, but well, that would be my invalidation. It's not anywhere close, but it sounds like you are on the higher term time frame. So it sounds like you're in a pretty good position to play a move like that, which is nice, which is really, really good. As a trader, you want to be in a position of power, right? Anyways, what's up, Scott Barney there? Oh, wait, no, sorry, I missed Mr. BK. Moon suit time. Well, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable saying that, but for AVAX, yeah, that thing's in its own fucking lands right now. Let's record a video on this one. Here we have Avalanche versus Z dollar, symbol AVAX, and we have yet again another all-time high for AVAX. A good indication that this market might be a little more healthy than what people are considering right now. Very, very interesting chart right here. I just want to kind of comment on the volume signature throughout this whole rally. There's been a lot of interest within this thing. Now it is on Binance, so maybe they turn on the volumizer bot, but most of the things have not really gotten this treatment. So this is a good sign overall, and especially with this one correcting with the rest of the market, yes, but putting in just higher lows alongside that is and has been a signal of strength, as we've been saying for the past. I mean, we started following this one back in I think late August or so, and that is certainly a signal of strength. Anyways, as far as daily goes, we do see hidden bullish evidence being confirmed as of yesterday's closure, and I would be looking for this one to very likely move higher here alongside BBWP, which is actually expanding, or sorry, it's actually contracting, but it is still above the 50 percentile right there. So I do look at this as very likely to continue. And again, there will be an invalidation point on this, but first and foremost, let's go through the short-term timeframes. Are they continuation right now? Actually, yes. Jesus Christ, man, this thing really is strong. Holy fucking moly. I don't see, or at least I don't have any reason to be invalidating this as long as this thing's above 65.5. That is how strong this fucking thing is. Jesus Christ. Let's go over here, see what momentum monsters are saying for right now, and then I come up with some areas of interest to the upside, as this one isn't a blue sky breakout, isn't it? Now, isn't it? Hourly is down as long as below $77, so maybe a very short-term time frame pullback. 4 hour will turn down below 69.70. So again, short-term timeframes are suggesting that this one either continues like right now or will consolidate lower, probably around the mid to upper $60 region, if I had to guess. 12 hours going to be up as long as above 61.5, and daily is going to flip back up above 75 at end of day today. So I'd feel comfortable in saying that if this one does close above 75 today, I would be looking for further continuation before a medium-term pullback. Only short-term pullbacks in the interim. Let me just daily right here, and let's see where areas of interest are going to be based off of that prior accumulation zone right there. You can see that we have found our highs thus far. That's 2.272, so a little bit of selling, but I typically don't see like major highs at that level. I do think that this one moves its way into the mid 80s actually, before the next sort of daily pullback and consolidation a little bit lower, and at that point I'd probably be looking for that move down somewhere around mid to low 60s. Long term though, I'm not saying that this is like bearish or anything like that. No, obviously not, just pullbacks. Weekly is, not too helpful just because this thing is hasn't been around for too long, but for the history that we do have, it's great. Monthly is powerful as all fuck. Yeah, Yeah, that's pretty good. Very likely to lead towards new all-time highs in October as well, barring a critical, massive red dildo party before end of month, which I suppose is possible. But as the month draws closer and closer to the end, we only have about 7 to 8 days left of trading to go in September. This is looking pretty damn good. Any sort of a closure by end of month above $60 is going to very likely imply new all-time highs in October, maybe November if that doesn't work out, but very likely October. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing hit $100 and beyond. This thing's fucking powerful, man. Got a lot of people pumping it now too. Again, nothing bearish about this, at least on the daily, as long as you're above about 65. So not bad, man. Not bad at all. 4-hour RSI still healthy on this rally. Yep, I suspect that this one continues and before AVAX. Nice. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Jack? Thank you for thank you for rejoining the cave there, man. Really appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Scott Barney, there he is. ALYI, daily oversold. There is no such thing as oversold or overbought, my friend. Markets, they can always go higher or lower. I can assure you of that. Is this thing oversold? Nope, just looks like a piece of shit. Shit, we got a shit coin. We got a shit coin of a chart. No, this thing is look, this thing, you know, you might call this oversold. It's gonna get more oversold. It's like that. It's like that old fucking thing that I used to do. Like, bro, you looking at that RSI right there? That RSI is at 25. And I read in my trading book that I downloaded off of the internet that below 30 is oversold. And you know what? If you get oversold, you gotta bounce. It's that fucking simple. Okay? I read it on the internet. And that means we will not be going lower, bro. So you better get ready for the fucking bounce, or else lose all your money. This one very likely goes lower before bouncing, sir. Looks like shit, man. Looks like shit, tastes like shit, acts like shit. It's probably shit. Heavily shit, as long as you're below, especially 2 cents. There will be bounce along the way, but bro, I think we got a bull trap over here. Remember when we said way back on over here, yeah, this thing looks okay for now, but if it pops back down below about 3.25 cents, it's going to get absolutely fucking wrecked. Well, that's exactly what it did. And that's, I believe, what it's doing right now. And I believe it'll continue to do that into the end of the year, man. This is a terrible fucking chart. Terrible fucking chart. Terrible, 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 terrible. You might get a pity bounce on the daily, but whoa! Fuck me! Dear Lord, man, that is a terrible. Oh no! But it's fucking oversold. Hidden bearish divergence on the quarterly is very bullish. I sound like a bitch. Well, who's gonna be the bitch when I buy the oversold bounce on the 4-hour? This one's gonna bounce like up 2 cents. Sorry, not 2 cents, but 0.2 cents. Fuck, I'm wrapped. I'm not wrecked, it's bouncing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have enough hopium give you for something like this. I mean, there's gonna be bounces, man, but oversold. I have a sneaky suspicion that it might get more oversold than it currently is, sir. What's up, Martin Hunt? Good morning, sir. I panic sold a long-term bag of algo yesterday after the temporary dip back down to 174. Feeling dumb, any bearish hopium from me? Well, I believe we were covering this one yesterday, and I believe we said a bounce was likely. And we got a bounce. We got a nice bounce right there. Hey, not bad. Even putting some hidden bullish evidence right there as well. I'll take that, sir. I'll take that. Okay, cool. Should we record a video on this one? I think we should follow up on this one. All right, here we have Algorand, symbol ALGO, versus the dollar. Mr. Martin Hunt has sold the Dipola, and now he's wondering if there's any bearish hopium. There's always some hopium, of course, but is it the most likely thing to be happening? Well, we did get our bounce that we were looking for yesterday, and we did pretty much, I believe I said a 180 target. We actually exceeded that bounce, so very interesting for that right now. 4-hour time frame, however, what are we looking like? I do think it's actually possible to come back down somewhere around about 160 to 162 or so. However, I'm not bearish on this at all whatsoever, as long as it's about 155, our invalidation point for yesterday as well, which would still be my invalidation point for, yeah, pretty much actually all time frames right here. Hidden bullish evidence on daily right now. I would say that the easy portion of that move is certainly already played out. However, with another higher low being put in right here on increasing volatility, I do expect that this will actually continue probably up to about $2 or 210 overall weekly. correction over. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable saying that just yet, but the monthly is really what I'd be focusing on right now because we are coming to the end of September. And if the monthly closes anywhere, basically anywhere here higher above 180, that's going to look very, very good coming into November. Going on over into our momentum also to see if they agree with what I just said, and then we'll kind of move on from there. Daily is down as long as below about 220, so I don't think it's obviously not trending anytime soon, but however, lower term time frames looking. 4 hours up as long as above 168. Hourly is down as long as below about 186 and a half. Where's our 12 hour at? 12 hours freshly popping up above 160, so I would give the Boulas the nod here. A little bit of sideways, maybe another test down into the mid 160s, but overall, I'd be looking, I'd be looking for this one to actually try higher. Maybe coming into next week. This is actually okay right here. Just short term does look a little bit like it might want to retrace. I don't feel too confident on that. What I feel strongly about is the higher term timeframes on this one. And if I did call in the short term timeframes, it probably does come back down a little bit, maybe in like the shallow 160 or so region. But I have nothing bearish to say about this thing, especially as long as you're above about 155, or if you really want to move it up, you could say 160 even for right now. And hopefully that was helpful. But Algo still holding it up, relatively well in comparison to most things within this market, taking this nice little dipola to actually putting a higher low right here, which, it's a good reminder that trend is your friend, my friend. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Algo. Nice one. Let's see. What's up, Gohan's mom? Oh, you're back in the cave as well. Fuck yeah. Well. There you are. Love it. And man, I just realized that your avatar is like that cute little dog. Oh man, I've been telling Elsa, like, if we're gonna get a dog, it's gonna be like one of those, like the little white ones that have curly hairs. I don't know, man. They just seem so well behaved and like nice to deal with. Not like some other more mouthy dogs, if you know what I mean. Jack Asman, what's up, man? Ethereum, Bitcoin, 4 hour and daily, sure. Let's see what we got. Here. Daily's good. Okay. Hey, reclaim the range. Very, very nice. Hey, this is good. Very, very good. I'd be looking for this one to continue the rally short term. I do not think that this death cross means anything. In fact, this would be kind of an example of what we spoke about on CME and spot price action, where it kind of baits and switches into one. Any sort of a closure above 7.15 million satoshis, I'd extend this run significantly, actually, back up to the prior range. Well, at least like 7.3.5 million satoshis, but probably back up to the prior range highs with 7.5 million satoshis. Yeah, this is good. It's good. Hidden bullish evidence about to populate with any sort of a closure today here or higher. And generally speaking, when Ethereum Bitcoin pairing is bullish, the rest of the market's bullish as well. And this is coming in, by the way, on expanding volatility. So I really, really like that. It does look like the correction is over on this one. I know you didn't ask about the higher term timeframes, but I do feel compelled to talk about them because short-term timeframes probably do pull back somewhere around about 7.15 million satoshis. Okay, seriously, what the fucking bastard is going on over there? Computer is getting all sorts of weirdness going on. But yeah, overall, I do like it especially on the higher-term timeframes. Short-term timeframes probably continue here as well, and then pull back somewhere around there. Where could this thing pull back down to? Maybe 7 million satoshis even again. But nothing bearish to say about this chart, especially for the time being, as long as you're above about 6.9.5 million satoshis. So hopefully that was helpful for Ethereum Bitcoin. And there you go. What's up, Nimbo? Tell Krown PSA Bitcoin.org has been hacked and has an Elon will double your Bitcoin type scam on the homepage. Holy shit, man. Man, these fucking scammers are really out of control. Yeah, well, there's your PSA. Dear Lord, man, Bitcoin.org, like that would be like the one site that you'd hope would be legitimate, but oh well, this is what you get for being in the early days of this very immature market. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Nimbo. And just and while we're on the topic of fucking scams, also be aware that there's some entity impersonating me on Instagram with multiple accounts now. I'm not going to DM you to trade your account. I'm not interested in such. I only have one account. I actually have two accounts. One for my personal, which is just under my real name, Eric Russell Krown, and then the other one is obviously for Krown Crypto, the entity that we have right here. And again, like I don't have a fucking secret fund. I'm not looking to trade your money. I have my hands full trading my own money. Christopher Corey says link BTC. Okay, link BTC. All right, we could do that. Although I mean, I would imagine the US dollar version is going to be a lot more helpful, but we can do this, request. What time frames are you looking at here? 3 to 6 weeks, short-term breakout. What the fuck I've never looked at a 3-week or a 6-week chart. I think what you're asking is like, where is it going to be in 3 to 6 weeks? There's no way to fucking or at least if we are going to look at 3 to 6 weeks out, I'd be looking at a weekly in this case. And I don't think this one's moving anytime soon, but it is putting an accumulation range here. I think that that's rather obvious. Does it get another test back down somewhere around about, just under 5,000 Satoshis? Probably yes, but I do like the rising bottoms here over time, and I don't think that there's anything, even remotely interesting to be looking at here as long as you're below 6,500 Satoshis and above about 5,000 Satoshis, but that would be an accumulation range, and this would actually be a really, really good sign. But short term, does it come down over the next several weeks? Probably yes, hidden bearish divergence on a weekly RSI, and, generally just looks like it wants to come down there as well. What does the daily say? Short term probably tries an upside move, but again, as long as you're below about 6.5 million Satoshis, not interested in the thing, very likely comes down again. In the next couple of weeks. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go, sir. Dennis Stone says EGLD for our daily weekly. Sure. And a lot of people have been liking this one. The Elrond token. Yeah, that's it. And I guess for good reason. Yeah, this is phenomenal right there. Really, really good. Really, really good. Let's do another video on this one. I need to take a sip of this water, though. My voice is already absolutely wrecked. There we go. There we go. All right. Here we have Elrond, symbol EGLD versus the dollar. And I wanted to follow up on yesterday as we get the continuation targets that we looked for. I believe I had a target somewhere around about 240, and we've not just hit that, we've exceeded it by $3, which is good. Anyways, momentum oscillators, as far as they are right now, did confirm the hidden bullish divergence. We did hit the easy targets on this one. If it does continue on from here with any sort of a closure above 250, I would target the prior highs in this case somewhere around about 280. Of course, it's not financial advisor, not financial advisor, but we do see that daily jewels kind of coming into a bit of area of support, and then more importantly, BBWP is still expanding here overall after putting in a higher low on declining volatility. So you want to see if you are within the context of an uptrend, you want to see your higher lows being put in on declining. Sorry. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional. I also talk about dildos on the fucking internet, and somehow 90,000 people are almost subscribed to this channel. Hey, by the way, like and subscribe and herp your derp. Just kidding. You don't need to fucking do that. Anyways, looking at this right here. Yeah. So look, when we do see something like this where it puts in a higher low within the context of an uptrend, obviously, on declining volatility, and then volatility starts to increase as we do work out of that higher low alongside momentum oscillator supporting that. That is typically a good sign. And, if I had to call it right now, it probably does reach back up somewhere around about 280 to 285 or so. This is a pretty good chart long term and definitely stands out in the grand scheme of things. We can see that we did have a weekly correction all the way down to the 10 simple. That's what you expect in your strong assets. That's where they typically correct down to. And this is just a generally long-term good chart that we see over here as well, going back to July 2019, works off of the higher lows, and that's always welcomed. Anyways, as far as monthly goes, because we are coming into the end of September right here, any sort of a monthly closure, basically here or higher, is going to very likely imply new all-time highs into October is the next month. Yeah. And then 4 hour is continuation. Man, this thing's fucking strong. What the hell? Hourly is continuation. Short term, I'd be looking for this one to make a move somewhere around about 255 to 260-ish region, then probably a short-term pullback from there. Do not confuse short-term pullback with a reversal. Just probably puts another higher low in the short-term time. Maybe we can come up with some areas of interest to the upside coming into maybe November. Not fucking November, October. Anyways, oh, by the way, completely missed this yesterday, but what do we have here? A nice little trend line marking off the lows from July. Oh, that was this low right here, and perhaps even this low right here. If we do close above 260 today, that'll be confirmed. My experimental indicator has given a fresh signal that probably does happen, actually, which is good, at least for the BULAs. Anyways, so where would I invalidate this whole idea? Well, a daily closure back down below 215 would do it for me. This would all be invalidated and all be completely irrelevant, but for right now, let's see where we can plot off some areas of interest long term. Let's see. I guess I already have it in there. Oh, what do you know? We put in our current highs right around the 1.618 extension. That's rather interesting. After that, Jesus fucking Christ. Look, I'm not going to say these targets over here. You can say them. That would be very long term though, not happening today or tomorrow or even this week or next week or even this month or probably even next month, but maybe around end of year. This would be pretty damn good. Again, I'd really want to see the monthly closure first, but the setup is there, and a powerful chart, very powerful chart. So there you go for Elrond. Not bad. Not just not bad, like pretty fucking good. What's up, Spencer Smith? Too much porn on your PC, Zer? Take off pant long or short? Take off pant long or short. That's right. We fucking are not. If we ain't banging, we ain't hanging. Hair is always looking. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate that nice and positive message, Miss Ben Smith. I salute you, man. Thank you. Thank you, and I wish you well as well, sir. Hey, what's up, Raj? We went through the ALBT yesterday, and today it was now above 90 cents. Okay, let's check it out. Let's check it out. And I have a few things to say about this chart. I actually looked at it after the stream as well, 'cause there was something like sticking out about it that I needed to kind of check out. Yeah, let's record a follow up on this one. This is actually very interesting to me right here. Here we have ALBT. I don't know what the name of this thing is, but what is it? I actually see it right there. It's Alliance blocks. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, okay, so we did reclaim the range that we were looking for yesterday. It was very, very important, back above about 85 cents. Now trading at 90 cents. And I would be looking for this to very likely continue here, somewhere around the upper 90s, maybe even as much as $1 before the next sort of potential medium-term pullback. Daily RSI, do we see anything of particular interest? No, we're just kind of working off oversold conditions right there, which is fine. Full hour is actually looking good as well. And what I would say is that if you do get a daily closure, or even a 4-hour closure in this point, back above about 96.5 cent, yeah, above about 96.5 cent, or even 95 cent would probably do it as well. I would be looking for this one to pop back up somewhere around the prior range highs, which is about $1.10 to $1.15, and that's going to look really, really good coming into another potential daily closure. Now, I don't know what the fuck this thing is. I don't know what the fuck this thing does, but this chart actually does stand out in a few ways. It's had a pretty damn good response over the past few months, and we can see some pretty obvious accumulation going on right here as well. So again, I don't know what this thing does, but whenever I see a chart like this, it does say something about the underlying asset. So or I was going to say, perhaps you know something that I don't. You certainly know something that I don't in that regard. And this is actually a decent setup over here. Daily Stokes are going to pop back up as well above 81 cent. By the way, this is not just coming back up around there. It is also align with the same sort of read on the Stokes here, marking off this low, and potentially this low as well, all major lows. So this thing is perhaps one to watch, maybe more long term. I typically don't say that about things that have only been around for like half a year right here, but this one is kind of speaking volumes towards itself. This is actually very, very good. I mean, it's well above its May and April highs. That does indicate that it is relatively strong. You know, where we are in the monthly, not gonna be too helpful. But overall, whatever this thing is, I do expect that it is something worth paying attention to. Of course, again, invalidation is gonna be below about, what was it, 85 cent or 80 cent? Below about 84 cent, we'll call it 84 cent, especially on a daily. I'd start to get bearish on this one, looking for massively deeper retracements back down to like 61 cent. But long term, I'm just curious if this is actually gonna work out, because this one does seem to have something going on here. Okay, so we found our current highs right at the 1.618. That's to be expected. Correct all the way back down to the prior breakout. Okay, a little bit deeper than probably what you want to see. Long term though, could this thing maybe move up to like $2-3? Possible, yes. You know, that would be like an end of year target, assuming that the monthly closure is good. And by monthly closure being good, I'd want to see it back above $1 at minimum. But there is something weird going on in this thing. Yeah, very, very interesting chart, and thank you for bringing it up. There you go. Cool. What's up, Meccan? Oh, what's up, man? Inform Krown. Jay already talked to you, yeah, man. But you know how it is. Like whenever the markets look a little bit shaky, he'll just say something. Motherfucker, man, what is actually going on over here? Hey, stop trying to steal my goddamn money. That'd be quite concerning. Anyways, let's see. Daniel Smiths, what's up, man? Good morning to you. Can you look at Snap? Okay, yeah. Remember when this one went IPO, actually. The boomers on the floor did not get this one. To be fair, I mean, it took a while for it to get going. By the way, just going back to ALBT, this is the exact same accumulation that you saw on the lows as you see on Snap right here. You kind of see the result. Now, this one obviously over a much more long time period. I mean, we're on a monthly instead of like a daily right here, but that's just, you know, cryptos being cryptos and moving generally faster. Looking at Snap right here, monthly is pretty damn good. I did have a measure move based off of the prior accumulation range from earlier this year, and that is still pointed up towards just shy of $90. Daily is very, very good right here. This continuation. This is a confirmed breakout as well. This thing is bullish as long as it's above $71. Very obviously. Short-term time frame is bullish as well. I do expect that this one will hit the $90 target or somewhere around there. Just look at Snap on Nas. Oh, nice! You got you got your hat in your hoodie, man, dude. I wear that fucking Bear Jesus hoodie so goddamn often. It's embarrassing, and I also wear my own hat. I probably look like a complete fucking bastard repping my own gear, but I like it. It feels good. It actually feels good on the skin, which I'm quite happy about. Daily hidden bullish evidence all the way through. That's what you want to see on a breakout. And we also see that volatility is expanding alongside that. I'm bullish on this one, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing hit $100 before end of year. Nothing bearish about this as long as it's above 71, or I wouldn't say bearish, but this is in validation below about $70 or 71. Pretty damn good though. Very, very good. Tyler Wallace, what's up, man? Hey, Krown, is it time to reorder the Lambo? Well, that's a decision for you to be making. I think it might be a little bit early again. There is nothing to be confirmed as a bear trap here from a technical analysis perspective, as long as Bitcoin's below 48,000 bucks. And right now, short term is, is pulling back. So fair enough. There you go. It's but now pick out the color, man. I'm being way too prude. AR versus the dollar. All right, what is this? AR. That's USD. Okay, Arweave. I think this one was on the winners list today too. Let's see. Yeah, pretty good response right here, playing at that same hidden bullish evidence that we see on a lot of the stronger alts today. Short term down. Yeah, let's go down to the very low term timeframes here. I think this thing could easily pop back down to about 46.25, maybe even 46 even or so. But overall, that'll just be another higher low on the hour. Let's go to the 4 hour right here. 4 hours fine. Yeah, I do think that it will pop down a little bit here. Actually, more like 47.5 is kind of where we're looking towards. Invalidation on the short term bullishness below 45.5, though. Very, 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 very important. Until then, short term very likely trades back down there, but I'd actually be looking at that as an opportunity. I mean, that is what a bear trap looks like. Big volume spike on the move back above the prior breakdown. I mean, that is what you're looking for. 4 hour Jewel actually got this one pretty much perfectly right there, right off the lows. Not bad. Doesn't always do that, but I'd generally be looking for a short term pullback and then pop back up somewhere around about 58, 59 bucks. Actually, pretty good. Pretty damn good for Arweave. What's weekly? Yeah, crest down to the 10 simple, but again, way too new of a chart to really do much with it. Good though, good though for the history that we do have, but I imagine that you're going to see BBWP trend down a bit here, somewhere around 50 percentile, and it corrects a bit, and then you see another try maybe like tomorrow or the next day. Tomorrow's already Friday though, so probably tomorrow if it is going to do it, or Monday. Cool. Let's see. Nick B, what's up, man? OMI from Hodler perspective. Okay. All right, I can try to put myself in the shoes of a hodler, although it doesn't feel too good. Well, I guess this one wouldn't be the worst one, at least for the history that we have, but it should be known this thing's been around for less than 2 months, so there's that. But this thing is decent as long as you're above about 0.5 of a cent. From a hodler perspective, though, I mean, this is good for the history that we do have on the daily. It's just I don't trust a chart that's been around for 2 months when if you're going to be a hodler, to me, that implies multiple years of hodling, right? I can't say anything other than that. Of course, this is never financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but I essentially wouldn't be at least short-term bearish as long as you're above 0.5 of a cent. I'll put it that way. Generally acts well. If below there, I'd look for a deeper correction down to 0.4 of a cent. But other than that, man, I really don't have an opinion on the long term because there's just not a long term on that. Yet. What's up, Crookface? When you're looking at a long-term thing for something like that, this is the times where you probably do. I mean, you can't really use tentacles in that sense because they're just, they're barely going to populate. I mean, there are some strategies with that, but not for the long term. You're probably going off the fundamental of which, you're going to be a much more, or you're very likely to be a much more relevant person for fundamentals than myself. I do not care about fundamentals, to be quite honest with you, for the most part. I only care if like the underlying asset is just legitimate and isn't going to fucking rug pull from like, I don't know, their founders going to jail or fought with like kiddie porn or some shit like that. That would be an issue. Brookface says Nvidia on the 4 hour, bro. I think this thing is oversold AF. Do we have some oversold action going on over here? This is not okay. Yes, this is Nvidia's chart. You're looking at a 4 hour though. Is this thing oversold? No, it's bullish. Hidden bullish evidence coming off the last low. Rallies perfectly off the 55. That correction comes on declining volatility. Bless you, sir. Daily jewels coming into a bouncy area as well. Yeah, man, this one very likely pops back up around 225 to 230-ish region. A great chart. A great fucking chart. Long term. You did specifically ask about the 4 hour, but 4 hour, yeah, I'd be looking for it to pop back up into like the mid to deep 20s. Or sorry, 220-ish levels, probably 225 if I had to guess. It probably goes on for some continuation, man. I mean, that's just been the name of the game on this thing. Talk about supply crunch. This one has it with their GPU chips, right? Anyways, let me take another sippy sip of this water, man. Argaman Trader says, Elsa is Satoshi. Well, I can't confirm, but some say it is so. So, could be. Sachin Sarma says, Mantra DAO, OMUSDT. Okay, so is that different than the last one we looked at? We looked at OMI. This is OM. All right. Okay. That's a good name. Sounds like it sounds like it does yoga. Is what it sounds like. Not a big fan of this chart overall. It's relatively weak, yes, but is it going to follow the rest of the market? Short term, probably yes. 27 cent or so is where I'd be looking towards. Invalidation below about 23.5 cent. You're looking at an hourly and daily. Hourly would be that analysis below. What was it? Below about 24 cent actually on a 4-hour close, or an hourly closure below about 23.5 cent. I'd say this is invalidating. You're going to retest the lows back down to like 20 cent, but daily, it's okay. It's just a laggard, just weak. Not the thing that I'd be interested in here. If Bitcoin shows any weakness, this thing's going to probably break down all the way to 16, 17 cents or so over time. James Namelin says the bull moon was right on time, friendo. Hey, check out the artist Shock One. He has a recent jam, Won't Let Me Name, you'll love. Should be on your intro. Well, I can't. You have to understand, I can't just play anyone's music on the intro because then I get copyright strike. It's not good. So unless you know him and know that he'd be cool with me playing his music, then it might not be the best idea. It might not be the best idea. But thank you for that, man. I'll check it out on my own time anyways, because I am an appreciator of music regardless. What's up, Gohan's mom? All good. RKLB stock, okay. RKLB. Rocket Lab, all right. Okay. What time frames are you looking at here? Daily, weekly, $13 dip possible. Okay, we're at 14.50 right now. I do think $14 is rather likely. $13 even. I don't see the relevancy of that. I think if this thing goes back down below actually $13, you're probably going to correct much deeper down to 12 to 12.5. I don't think $13 is relevant here. I think it either puts in a low right here or it works its way down to 12.5 before the next potential low. And personally speaking, I do think that it will grind out $14 and it probably will try for a low right there if I had to guess. Yeah, hourly is short term down, so at the very least 14.5, see what the response is right there, and then if that fails, then I don't think 13, I think 12.5 actually, maybe even slightly lower than that. What's up, Simply Gains? .USD daily, weekly. All right, let's see. Okay, .USD, Polkadot, what you doing? Daily, weekly. See, or did you say daily, weekly? Did I get that right? You did say daily, weekly. Okay, daily, played out the hidden bullish divergence. Nice, all right. It's okay. It's good as long as you're above about 28.5 bucks. Weekly corrects down to the 10 simple and 21. Actually, okay there as well. So 5-day actually had a really, really good response right here. You know, if it had another move down to like 29.5, I'd look at that as an opportunity. To be quite honest with you, in short term, it probably does pop back down somewhere around there, but invalidation on this one would be below about 28.5. Short term probably does pop back down, like I said, but I'd only be bearish on this one below about 28.5 on a 4-hour. Daily, I think it just kind of chops sideways here. Weekly, I don't have an opinion on the higher term timeframes on this one. It's okay, but I really want to see the monthly closure. I'm not getting too much from the weekly or the bi-weekly in this current price action. Same thing with the 2-day, and the 5-day is okay. The 5-day actually would show a little bit more of a bullish picture here. So, you know, that's kind of what we'd be looking at, and probably does pop back up somewhere around 35.5 or so. But the monthly is what I'd be looking for to kind of judge maybe potential more continuation to new highs on this rally, not necessarily new all-time highs. Again, a bit of a laggard in this market for something that was so good in early 2021, but not as loved by the rest of the market, it looks like, currently. Let's see. Darren? Good to meet you, Mr. Darren. I can't say your last name, though, man. Apologies. Nano USD. Oh! Nanos. Was looking long-term on this project. Have you ever looked into that one? Yes, it's great for chicken tendies, if you like that. Or maybe your mom just makes them for you, or all sorts of good things. Terrible. Fucking terrible. Wow. Hold on. Definitely going to be a better chart than this. Is this all the long... Oh, yeah, this is back to 2017. Never took out his 2017, 2018 highs. That is a sign of massive weakness. look, it's going to follow whatever Bitcoin does, but to the upside, it's going to underperform, and to the downside, it's going to overperform. And this one, you can see the reaction has certainly just not been as interesting as several of the other stronger coins that we've seen today. Let's see, 4 hour right here. I'd be bearish on this one back below about 475 or so, but the rest of the market's going to decide this one right now. This one's not going to move on its own. Assuming that Bitcoin does move up to about 45.5 or so, which I think will happen, I think you'll find this one at about $5.5. But if you're looking at this one like long term, I mean, this is your long term. It's just not interesting long term in comparison to many other things within this market. This is your real chart, by the way, as well. Anything that was around in 2017 or 2018 that failed to get above its 2018 highs in 2021 May specifically is just, in my opinion, massively weak within this market, and that's really all I have to say about that. So if you are looking at this one long term, just be aware from a technical analysis perspective, like it's going to move with the rest of the market. If Bitcoin moves up here, yes, it's going to go up. It's just, is it going to go up more? Probably not. Or at least that would be the historical interpretation of this. I mean, this one trends close to zero is what it does, which is not a good sign, man. So hoping aside, this thing is, I mean, even the fucking 5 days just garbage. Fucking garbage on something like this. Chicken tendies coin, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing back down around 340 if Bitcoin shows any weakness, and below there, this thing's just done for another few years probably. Only gets its pumps and dumps, and you can see that it just doesn't get respected here. Not a good sign, man. So hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, nanos, great for chicken tendies, great for fleshlight cleaning services, but not great for, probably not too great for long-term financial gains. Unless, I mean, like, again, if Bitcoin moves up, it will move up with it just much, if you're trying to think of that competitively. What's up, Blake Williams? Haven't been on live stream in a while. It's all good, man. The Dent isn't Dentacoin. It's a telecom company. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Don't know what that's in reference to, but all right. Mark Marcos says, so annoyed. Rephrase this question 50 times since yesterday and keep getting a rephrase your question error. Oh, okay, so YouTube was giving you some shit. Any thoughts on coins like Luna? Yeah, why is that one getting... So you want to look at Luna? That's weird, man. Yeah, YouTube just has... I don't know. They just do their own thing and can't really do too much about it, but they have their own auto mods. I'll record a video on this one as well because I know that it is rather popular. And what the bastard is going on over here? I think I'm getting hacked. I'm getting hacked right. You're hacking me? Oh shit. All right. Well, fair enough. That's awful. Anyways, here we have Terra Luna, symbol LUNA, and this one having a phenomenal bounce from yesterday to today. Actually, really, really good right here. I mean, this is. I just want to measure this one out. Wow. Jesus fucking Christ. Almost 42% from closure to closure. Wow. Very, very impressive right there. Okay, so short-term time frames, probably going to see an ebb and a flow here. I do think that this one could very easily, pull back somewhere down around low 30s, that being between about 31.5 to $32. But I'm essentially, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm bearish on this as long as above $30.5 on a 4 hour, I'm going to guess. Yeah, about 30.70 is where I kind of mark that off on a 4 hour. Until then, this actually does have a lot of markings of a bear trap in the making, or sorry, in not just in the making, but in progress. And I would start to confirm that back above 37.5 on the daily specifically. Now let's check for the time being. Daily will pop back up with any sort of a closure today above 35.70. That's good. 4 hour is obviously up as long as above 28, and hourly is probably flip-flopping down. A little bit of short-term, probably pullback, yes, but one actually does have a decent setup. Again, assuming that it does not hit that invalidation point, I'd be looking for kind of trade sideways within a short-term, medium-term time frame range, and then probably put in a rally, or at least try somewhere around about 37 to 37.5, and then that can obviously bleed on over into the daily. And if that starts to happen, then I'm going to start to look for moves back around the prior highs, maybe coming into October or so. Monthly, not giving me too much on this one, but it is okay. 5 day. Very, very good response of the 21 right there. That is quite healthy, actually. I don't think it's going to be moving like this week, but overall, this is a decent setup and does get respected a lot by this market, which is a good sign, a very good sign. So hopefully that was helpful for Luna. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. What's up, Joshua? Can you look at phantom short and medium term? What is short and medium term? I'm so curious. What does that mean to you? Just what is your definition? Out of curiosity. 4 hour, hourly. Short term probably extends it one more drive, maybe back up to like 134 or so. Then short term pullback from there. Daily, however, I'd probably be looking for this one to pop back up over the next few days, maybe to like 145, 150-ish region. This one's okay. Yeah, hidden bullish. I've earned some of that last low. I typically look for a drive towards around the last prior range. I think that's about 145 or so. Okay. Okay. You know, the Sam coin getting some love here. I didn't ask about higher term timeframes, or maybe this does mean short and medium term to you. I don't know. But weekly, relatively strong. Just I expect that this one consolidates for a while longer. I don't think it's going to be like running to new all-time highs anytime soon. Let's see what's up. Winning choice. Hello, Zer. Hello. What moons are working? Are they back to working? Hold on. Let's go consult with the moons. Let me just double check my moon charts over here. Are the moons on? Are these things on? Let's see. Where's my damn moons? Oh, we have a Bula moon right on the low, actually, right there. I guess it happened technically on the 21st, and on the 22nd we rally. Hey, the moons are back, baby. The moons are fucking back. Take another sip of this, though, man. Should play the song. Yeah, the moons are back. We are on the moon currently. We're on the moon currently, but yeah, moons are back, baby. XTZ USD 4 on daily. Okay. Has those. Huh? See where this one is. This one's been a wild card actually for a while. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting to see something like this. You know, it's kind of like consistently moved, just not against the market, but just differently than the rest of the market for a long period of time. I would be looking for this run to extend a little bit more, just above $6 or so, somewhere to like 610 to 615, and probably pull back from there. On the daily, full hour would invalidate any sort of short-term upside continuation below about 540 or so on a 4-hour closure. Sorry, 530 on a 4-hour closure. Hourly's good, just kind of consolidating, but again, I wouldn't mind another move back down into like the mid fives short term. Daily is what I'm marking this one off of, and guess what? We have just another higher low coming off that last Dumbola. Again, a relatively strong signature right there. That's very, very good. It cracks down to the 10 simple on the weekly. That's good. Monthly, if this thing closed anywhere above about $6 by end of month, that's really what I'd like to see. Now, to be fair, we did. I would say that we've already played out that hidden bullish. Everyone's come off this last macro low here, just below $3. Any sort of a closure this month above 6, and I'd probably be looking for new all-time highs either in October or November, and this would look pretty good. Again, just a generally up chart. Very nice. Very, very nice. Super Goo Lily, what's up, man? Good morning to you. Triple or quadruple threes. Okay. Let's see what this is doing. Oh, baby. You know what this one's going to be doing. Just a fucking highway to hell on this one. Holy shit. You know what's funny is that if you saw this chart in cryptocurrency land, you'd probably want to play like a scalp bounce around here, and actually kind of is getting that right now as well. In traditional markets, I don't find that to work as much. But it is very close to zero, so that's good. So, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, you know, we are seeing some big volume spikes over here. I want to see that consistently for a little bit more. I imagine you're probably not asking for this because like you're interested in this, but you know, if this thing is going to put in a low here, it's gonna grind out like this area between $1 and $3 for months, maybe even years. It's gonna take a while to kind of work this shit off, if it even is gonna work off at all. But we have hit on the weekly 100 percentile on BBWP, so you know, I think it's going to range at the lows for a long time, and then maybe put in a pity rally. I think it'd be lucky to get back above about $4 before the next sort of shellacking to the downside. Man, holy shit, that is just one nuke of a chart. Like someone knew something back in 2018 as well. It's like, all right, let's start distributing, and go fuck yourself. Holy shit, man. Nasty. What's up, Hex Outlaw? Hello, Zer. Just want to thank you for my pleasure, man. Could I check out Hex on the daily? Sure. Thinking I might regret selling some at 49 cents. Thanks again, sir. No problem. Yeah, so Hex, okay, so I did say that we probably have put in a top there, but it's probably also going to grind out. I think it was 50 cents yet again, but let's see where we're at right now. Let's see if that's still on board. Yeah, it is. Hey, not bad. Okay. Yep, short term very likely does move its way back up. And I do think that it'll probably tag around your exit. You basically sold the top for right now, which is pretty fucking phenomenal. But I do stay with what I've been saying here. I do think that this one is topping out, or at least if it's not topping out, it's incredibly fucking close. Now let's play devil's advocate. What if I'm wrong? Where would I be looking towards next? 56 cent is where I'd be looking towards. 56.5 cent actually, to be exact. And to be fair, you actually typically don't see too many tops around the 3 spot 414 for what it's worth. Although I do think it's going to get one more try up to 48 cent, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. And then if you see a closure back down below about 45 cent, that would be a good sign that this one is going to top sooner rather than later. If not, if you do see a closure higher than that, I'd extend targets to 56.5 cent first, and then that's going to probably look like continuation, because the monthly is going to be absolutely powerful as all hell coming into October if that's going to happen. But these next few days are pretty damn critical right here. Again, I would be looking for short-term continuation, and then any sort of a slam back down before end of day, back down below about 45 cents. That's going to look good for this one actually putting in like a major high right here and working its way down towards next target would be, I mean, we've already kind of hit the 30 cent target, but I do think there'd be one more drive down there, probably another bounce. And then over time, I'd be looking at the weekly for this one, and I'd still say about somewhere between about 20 to 25 cent or so. But it's a long day left to go, and should give it the benefit of the doubt. It's just I fear that the fucking Hexagon crew is going to come for me. I say anything more bearish on this one, but for right now, give it the benefit of the doubt. If you start to close above that region by end of day, that's going to look good for continuation. If not, then I'd still stick with my top call here. And personally speaking, I do think that's what's going to happen. I mean, this one. Yeah, this one is looking a little bit toppy, especially on the higher term timeframes. Hasn't put in a lower high just yet, but that's kind of what I'd be looking for right here. I'm kind of on the lower high watch for what it's worth. We do see some big sellers coming into this one for the first time in a while, so someone knows something that we do not for right now. That's usually going to work out on the other side. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Hexer. What's up, 1231? Ethereum short term, maybe go over the next few days. Man, we have a massively different understanding of short term. All right, let's just do a general overview on this one. Here we have Ethereum versus the dollar here, and we're going to do general overview on this one. Start off with the lower term time frames, and let's go down to a 4 hour, of which we see a bit of a short term move up to our targets from yesterday, about 3,100, which is good. And I would be looking for a very likely a short term pullback from this region. Anywhere back down around low 3,000 is fair game. I don't feel too confident on this one as far as the short term goes, but overall, I would remain with medium and long-term, I wouldn't say long-term bullishness, but I'd remain with medium-term extension as long as this thing remains above on a 4 hour closing basis, 2970 specifically. So short-term very likely pulls back to, maybe low 3,000, assuming that it does not crack back down below on a closing basis, 2970 or so. I would be looking for that one to give another try higher, perhaps in the next few days here. Daily, what do we see? You see not the best setup here, actually. Did not reclaim the 55. In fact, about the 5 day, just closed yesterday, a bit of a range between about 33 and basically that 2970-ish region. If Bitcoin does move up here to 45.5 or so, maybe even 46,000 bucks, I'd be expecting Ethereum to tag somewhere up around 33 to 33.25. But understand that that is not a strong signature right there, at least for the time being. The hopium here is mostly based off of the monthly closure, and that's what I feel a lot more confident speaking about if you are looking at the long term on this one. Any sort of a monthly closure above 3,500, which is significantly higher than even my daily continuation target, if Bitcoin even continues there, which is a bit of a wild card. Then I'd probably start to look for this one to distribute a little bit more into October. However, let's go over to the monthly. Are we still sitting on the top side of it? Yes, we are. That's still good. And the quarterly, which is going to be closing at the end of this month as well, any sort of a closure, yeah, especially above like 33, so especially above 35, it's going to look really, really good for new all-time highs coming into end of year. But for right now, a lot's going to be decided, I suspect, in this next week into the monthly closures. So let's go check out momentum also and see where we're at. And I come up with some other areas of interest, perhaps. Daily, okay, so 12 hours, my experimental indicator actually did call the low. Hey, not bad. 12 hour stuff's going to be popping up with, as long as we're closing above 2,700. Looks rather likely right now. That's good. Daily is going to actually follow and pop up as well if we do close today above 3080. So good. If Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but if Ethereum can close above 3,100 today, I do think that it keeps open at least a short-term, medium-term Boolaw's hopes alive. Somewhere around to 3250 to 3300 or so, and then a lot will be decided right there. Understand that you still got lower highs as long as you're below about 3600 from a daily trend perspective. And if we go down to the lower term time frames, yeah, 4 hours going to be up as long as above 2850, but that's getting pretty aggressive right there. Hourly is 30.10.10. So basically, if this thing doesn't continue from here, it will correct a little bit lower on the short term time frames, or very, very likely, I should say, somewhere in like the low 3000 if I had to guess. And then pray that this thing doesn't break back down below 27, or sorry, not 27, but 2970. if that, if that doesn't happen, I'd still keep open the Bulos hopes alive. Probably easier to watch Bitcoin in this case on a continuation move, but anywhere between about 3,250 to 3,300 would be fair game, and then come back to it after that. I feel like I'm missing something here. On the 2-day, that 2-day doesn't look too hot. I mean, that is not fucking good right there. We already got that. What about a 6 hour right here? Do we have hidden bearish evidence working on this one? Where's our last high? Way back on over here, so no. At least that would be good. At least for right now, I would feel very confident in saying that if this thing could start to close 4 hour or especially 6 hour dildos back above 3,300, this is going to be I would honestly look at that as confirmation of a bear trap, even though technically speaking it should be back above 36 or so. I actually would say that. I would go as far as saying that right now. But hopefully that was helpful on Ethereum, and there you go. Be aware of the invalidation below 2970 specifically on a 4 hour. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go, sir. Nice. All right, let's see. Pablo Sal says, bonjour, mon ami. How you doing, man? Nokia next short squeeze. Okay. Let's see. Yes, there we go. Trades on. It literally trades here in Helsinki, I guess. I didn't know that there's a physical exchange here. At least I haven't seen it. But let's see. You're looking at hourly and daily. I'm guessing hourly is looking bouncy. Yes, it is. Looking for a short-term bounce to continue back around about 480. Is there a short squeeze here? I mean, well, I do think it's going to bounce, yes. And I do think it's going to bounce above $5 actually. And then come back to it after that. If it can start to bounce back above $5 and close dailies above there, I don't think it's a short squeeze. I think that this is a bear trap is what that would be. But it's a long day left to go. Short term, again, 480. And then if you see a daily closure over the next couple days, especially into Friday, coming above 490. And by the way, we do have a decent setup here. I mean, very rarely do you see daily jewel get this low. And last time we saw this was September 2020, and the time before that was March 2020. This low and this low, right? Probably I'd kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. At least I'm inclined to say that weekly, long term terrible, and just got awful long term, but okay for now. At least short term. All right, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go, sir. Jack Asman says Ethereum USD 4 on daily. Okay, we already got that, but I can do your other one, Solana's. We can do Solana. We can do a little video on Solana's over here. All right, yeah, let's do it. Here we have Solana, symbol SOL versus the dollar, and we have what could be the next higher low in a series of higher lows over the long-term macro scale. A nice correction down to the 55, and a good response thus far, coming off that hidden bullish evidence on the daily. And of course, we do see daily jewel is coming down to a bouncy area on the fib support right there. Now we haven't gotten an upside signal just yet on the daily, but the setup is potentially there, especially if we see volatility start to expand back about 50 percentile. Now I think it's very telling that you're seeing this whole correction come on declining volatility. Good sign as long as this higher low does hold at 125 or so. So what I would say is that as long as this thing is above 125, I am actually looking at this as correction very likely coming to a conclusion relatively soon. Probably setting up for a move back around about 170, 170. Yeah, about 170. Above 170 actually would be bullish on this thing once again. Now, there is going to be an invalidation on this one, of course, for the short-term timeframes as well. That's going to be below 134 specifically. But for right now, this one kind of led the market during most of summer, and it's good to see that it's over here after that long-term correction. So good, very, very good. Short-term timeframes might pop back down short-term to 140 or 142. I don't think that's problematic though. Again, invalidation points, as we said before, on the 4 hour and daily, but it should be known on the daily, Stokes will be actually popping back up above 144.80 by end of day today, which we are currently, about $3-4 above. 12 hours probably already up. In fact, it is, as long as it's above 120, good, and 4 hours up as long as it's above about 131, actually. Yeah, overall, I actually do like this one, and if I did call it right now, I actually do think that it will continue, probably to 160, maybe even 170, above 170. I'm bullish on this one for continuation long term. Until then, be aware of the invalidations, but a very good setup right here, and this one acts well. 5-day corrects down to the 10 simple and up. This one had one more move down to like 125 or 130. I'd look at that as an opportunity on the 5-day. Now, I should also talk about, hey, what if it hits the invalidation? Well, this one to shadow its way back down below $100, but we won't talk about that for now. At least I don't think it's as relevant for right now. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Solana's. Hey, what's up, Shelly? Hey, from across. Oh, you're in Estonia. Hey, not bad. I actually used to live in Old Town in Estonia. I actually really, really liked it. We just got Solana, so we'll look at CEL. Celsius. Okay, so this one is a lending platform. Is that right? Not too good. I imagine this is probably like a reward token or something, and as soon as people get it, they just sell it. Seems to trade within a long-term range for what it's worth. Short-term is a bouncy. Yeah, it is bouncy short-term, probably back up to 530, but not a good chart long-term. I don't think that this one is the one to like really be watching. Heavily bearish long-term as long as you're below about 630 or so. 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hour probably bounces here. Shit, this thing could even get back around about 550, 560-ish region, but again, as long as you're below 630 on a daily, I think that this one's just put in lower highs, and all bounces are just essentially continuation to the downside in this case, and probably finds its low somewhere around about 480, maybe 460 or so, somewhere down around there before the next like potential major bounce. But this is all distribution is what it looks like to me. That's why I'm inclined to say that it's probably a rewards token. People are just probably selling the shit out of it as soon as they get it, if I had to guess. So yeah, miss anything on the hourly? Yeah, probably extends around a little bit more here, a little bit more. But hopefully that was helpful, and there you go. What's up, Trick Shots? Yeah, man, holy shit, it's been a long time, and I recognize that name as well. Yeah, you started trading in 18, 19 when you found this channel. That's awesome, man. The hardest thing is trading after a failure. How do you deal with that? Man, so there's two questions here. There's MLN and USD. Let's just look at this MLN shitcoin. Well, first off, I would avoid trading shitcoins in general, but you already know that, man, if you've been here for that long. Again, it's personal preference. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. Not a bad chart, actually, long-term, or at least, no, this thing's been around for like 3 months. It's not a long-term chart. Probably does come down short-term to like 140 or 130 or 139 and a quarter and tries to bounce there. But, okay, so how do you deal with trading after a failure? I actually did a video on this in the psychological playlist that I uploaded this past weekend, but I can briefly go over it here as well. Okay, so how do you deal? All right, let me just record this one. Okay, so we have a really good question from Mr. Trick Shots, who's been trading for about, it sounds like 3 years, a little bit over 3 years now, which is good. So you're definitely getting into like, solid territory at that point. And basically you are asking, okay, or you're stating the hardest thing is trading after a failure. How do you deal with that? Okay, so first off, what is a failure? A failure is, and at least what I'm going to guess, is a trade that went against you, right? Okay, so I actually do not define trades as failures in that regard. The only time that I call a trade a failure is if I didn't follow my plan. Because any plan, okay, what the hell is going on over here? Because any plan oh, that's what's going on. I see. Jesus. All right, let me just turn down the volume. It'd be really annoying. There we go. All right, cool. Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. Apologies. So if you follow your plan, it is not a failure. There are going to come with your plan both wins and losses, but wins and losses should be baked into any plan, obviously, because what you're doing as a trader is you're taking advantage of a statistical setup that assumedly you have already back tested yourself and also forward tested, and you have good statistics on that show the data as to whether or even how much your strategy is going to be successful. This is why it's so important to follow something very, very strictly and to be fucking militant about it. That is where you can be good and where you can actually find your edge, at least in my experience and the experience that many people that I've trained with and traded with have essentially had. So how do you deal with, or how do you deal with that? How do you deal with a failure? You have to cognitively realize first logically that it is to be expected if you have a trading strategy that has a 60% win rate. 40% of the time you will be a loser, or your trades will lose. But if you understand that fact logically, you're still probably going to have the little pings of emotional hurt when you lose something. So we're just set up like that as human beings. But over time, if you can still just repeat the positive actions that you had as lined out by your trading plan, then you can trust in the fact that it will work out over time. And while you might feel like shit right now, if you simply acknowledge feeling like shit, or however you feel, just acknowledge it. You don't have to fight it. And in fact, I'd say it's like not a good idea to fight it. But if you just acknowledge it and then continue with the actions, which you can do, because everyone's experienced this, or at least I imagine most people experience this. Like, think about going to the gym, right? How often do you not want to go to the gym, but you do it anyways because you know it's the right thing to do? I think most guys like have an experience with that. Well, the same thing in trading. you might not want to do it, or you might feel compelled to go off your plan. You might feel compelled to revenge trade, all that good stuff, which is not great. But you can also feel that and then not do the action. And that's where your superpowers can actually come from as a human being, just in general. But most importantly, in the context of trading, that's where you need to be if you are going to be long-term successful, because the only way that you can get in your way, once you have a well-defined plan that has been backtested, that has been forward tested as well, is by not following that damn plan. And of course, there are going to be times where, a 10 Sigma event comes around, a black swan's going to, wreck your Angus, and it is what it is, man. And that's just what we deal with as traders, and that's why we have what I call emergency stop losses. Anyways, more important and to the point, this is all assuming that you've actually have a plan and have back tested it and forwards tested it, ramping up on the live account as you do prove yourself that it actually is successful. And I'm not talking about like fucking 20 iterations. There was someone in the Discord yesterday who's like, yeah, man, I tested my strategy 20 times and then I took a loss yesterday. Now I feel bad. It's like, God damn it. It's like, God damn it. Like, I lay this out in the program, and I'll just tell you right now, it's like, it's no secret. Hey, if you're testing a strategy, historically speaking, you can, assuming that there's enough data, obviously adjust for the data, but 50 iterations, typically minimum. 100 is going to be better. Anything more than that is great for the back testing phase. Then you start off with a very low dollar amount, or maybe even just test an account to begin with, and start trading it as as like a live strategy. And then as you proved yourself every 15 to 20 iterations that it's actually working in the way that you have designed, in the way that you are comfortable with, then you can start to add more and more money to that as you feel comfortable. That's kind of the way that I've found has worked for myself and many others, and hopefully that was helpful there. So there you go, sir. Stempex, what's up, man? Not been here in several months. Hey, where have you been, sir? God damn it. You wake up too damn early. Yeah, man. 5 a.m. wake up time, sir. Can you check out HBAR daily, weekly? Sure. All right, let's see. Yeah, no, another good actor here, it looks like, having a pretty nice bounce off that hidden bullish divergence right there. Corrects down on declining volatility. Daily Jewel comes down to a bouncy area as well. What's our lower term timeframes looking like? Out and validate this one short term below about 34 cents on a 4 hour specifically, but for right now, it actually looks like it wants to stair step its way upwards and out of here, maybe after a very short term time frame pullback down to like 35.5 cents or so. I think that wouldn't be too problematic. Other than that, I don't really have an opinion on the short term time frames. The setup is on the higher term time frames, obviously, with the 5-day having a really good bounce back actually after yesterday on closure. What time frames did you actually ask about? Daily, weekly. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm not even on your time frames right now. Weekly, any sort of a closure this week above 38 cents is going to look really, really good coming into October. Yeah, and by the way, monthly, any sort of a closure above 37, 38 cents is going to look really, really good coming into October. I do like this chart for what it's worth right now. Below, however, below about 36 cents, I would not be as interested. And of course, short term, if you do crack back down below 33.5 cents, that's going to, well, invalidate this whole talk and make it completely unnecessary and completely irrelevant. Now, I would say, do be aware, there is potential hidden bearish divergence working on this one between this point and this point. In this point and this point right here, if this one fails to continue back above about 45 cents relatively soon. So I do expect that this one will pull back first, but the question is, does it actually break those critical levels or not? I suspect that it, I'd give it a chance, at least. What's up, Nuke Tech? How about ETM for long term? What is long term, sir? Fleshlight owners unite. Man, I loved my old Fleshlight, but the funny thing is that I used to live in like the studio apartment, and when I moved over here, I like way back in 2017, 2018. This couple bought it from me. It's like these really nice people who are going to a very nice school, very prim and proper, right? And what stupid coin is this? ETN, okay. And I didn't have time to like clean up my whole fucking apartment for them before they moved in, so I left a lot of things there. Among those things was a fleshlight, and because my mom wasn't around to clean it up, that thing's fucking dirty and smelly. Ran out of nanos to pay that bitch. Why didn't I take my fleshlight with me? Because I feared that the airport security might look at it and say, sir, there seems to be some sort of toxic fumes coming from this flashlight contraption, and we're going to need to interrogate you over here. And I'd have to explain to them, sir, that's actually 5-month-old Megmas. funny about that? Anyways, ETN. Actually, I was expecting something a lot worse than this, but I was expecting something way worse than this, actually. It's actually not bad. Actually not bad here. Where's your higher low? 19 cents. This thing just corrected down to a higher low. Even holds a 21 right there. That's really, really good. I was not expecting this at all. I owe this one an apology. It's not a shitcoin. It's actually okay. 4 hour would invalidate below about 2 cents or so, but it's actually looking good. I'd be looking for a short-term move back up to about 2.5 cents. New smart contracts. All right, everything's a smart contract now, but that's either which way. Let's see, where are we on the monthly? Okay. It'd be a lot easier if this thing was trading back about 3.5 cents by end of month. But for right now, I give it the benefit of the doubt. I would switch on to bearish below about 2 cents on a 4 hour closure. But for right now, and I would be looking for another drive down to like 1.8 cent minimum. But for right now, a little bit of sideways here. And okay, I guess probably easier to watch Bitcoin on direction. I mean, you know how everything moves with whatever Bitcoin's doing. What's up, Dr. Colossus? CHSB on the daily, bottom of the range, and looking for a tasty move to the upside. All right, so it sounds like you're trying to play the bounceola. CHSB. Yeah, she was. This thing does not have history, man. Let's see. Can we find something else? Okay, it's on Krown. No, I really want to see it versus the dollar, so I guess we got to go to we got to go to Finex on this one. All right. Well, whatever it is it bouncing off the lows? Yes, but I mean, this thing, you know what I'm gonna say. I don't like a chart like that. Does it continue to bounce? Probably yes, up to like 70 cents. But other than that, I do not feel comfortable saying anything else about it. Calling a reversal on this, you know, it's not even long term, but just for the history that it has, just sells off. Is not wise in my experience. Above like 75 cents, things look a little bit better for a move, maybe back up to like 87, 90 cents or so. But for right now, short term, probably 70 cents, and I'll be looking for another lower high as it typically does. And oh God. Okay, I think people don't understand what timeframes are, or at least, sorry, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say, okay, I wouldn't say people don't do that, but certainly some people do not understand timeframes. All right, we'll get to that soon enough. Mr. Andrew Mao. What's up, Nav? Mr. Singh, Sol USD. Yep, we already got that one. I'll actually upload a video on this one a little bit later as well. Thoughts on bringing back the morning short videos during these turbulent times? This is my morning video, and what I do is I record these. The altcoin analysis and then upload them a little bit later. Typically I like to do a bunch of different timeframes for them so that they hold their relevancy, whatever that might be, for at least like 24 to 48 hours or so. But yeah, man, I can't wake up any earlier. so I don't think so, man. These live streams are already at like 8 a.m. my time. Okay, we'll look at economy. Next hour to 48 hours. I don't know what that means. Okay. All right. That meaning hourly is, I don't know if that's a way of asking for an hourly. It's not bad here. Let me just see what OKX says. Yeah, okay, same chart. All right. Yeah, I mean, there's not much history here, man. Like, yeah, like just a couple months. So looking at any sort of higher term time frame is not relevant. But hourly, it's fine. I wouldn't mind if it came back down to like 0.5 of a cent or so. I'd just be looking for another higher low there, and I'd be saying that this one is generally bullish as long as you're above 0.5 of a cent or 0.5 of a cent. In this case, daily's not giving me much. 5 days giving me even less. If anything, though, it is good here for what it's worth. It's just I'd like to see like a lot more history. 12 hours good, however, and I know that you didn't ask for this time frame or really a time frame, but I'd probably be looking for this one to move back up towards 6.2 of a cent over the next couple days here, and probably continues on with the rally from there. But again, easier to watch whatever Bitcoin does, but this thing actually seems to outperform to the upside thus far, which is a good sign. ACLX, man, you got all these ones. I don't think I've ever heard too much of. Okay, this one's not even on TradingView, so it's probably way too new, man. But unfortunately, as always, I'm limited by what TradingView has, and this thing is, you can see, not on TradingView. Let me just double check. Hey, ACLX, yeah, not on TradingView, unfortunately. I do apologize about that, but it's not there, sir. All right. What else we got? SEC is here. What's up, man? Dear Krown, I seem to trade better with smaller size. Very interesting. With bigger size, I start to freak out and make bad decisions. Any advice? Thanks, sir. Oh man. All right. Okay, we have a great and phenomenal comment from actually the SEC right now. And the SEC says, "Dear Krown, I seem to trade better, in quotes, with smaller size." Okay. With bigger size, I start to freak out and make bad decisions. Any advice? Thanks, sir. Okay, this is actually, well, first off, you know the answer is within your comment. Obviously, your size is too high, and your emotions are starting to get in the way, as denoted by what you said in the context of freaking out. So how do you deal with that? Well, first off, a good rule of thumb is if you're getting emotional about your positions, they're probably sized too high. Again, when it comes down to trading, it's always a statistical game. And anytime that you're feeling emotions that, go against that or obtuse to that, it's a good sign that you are getting in your own way. In this case, you're getting in your own way through the vector of oversizing yourself. It sounds like once you get into a big position, that I imagine if it starts to go against you, that's when you start to be like, I need to get out. I'm going to lose everything, which means that you're oversized. Because again, if you were playing with those statistics in your favor, you're not really going to. Well, hold on. This is actually kind of a little bit more of a complicated conversation than that. In general, I like to use the same size on all my trades to begin with, because when you are playing with statistics, it just makes it easier to kind of even out over time, obviously. More importantly, sir, god damn it. Anyways, it makes it more relevant over time. So if you are playing around with your position sizing, what I would say is don't. And if you are going to up it, only up it after fully and firstly confirming that your strategy is working with a lower dollar account. And whenever you feel that emotion, at least in my experience, whenever I feel that, I'm starting to freak out on my, my position, even though I took the trade off of the same signals, off of the same strategy, off of the same everything, then it's a good sign that the size is the issue and you should size down. And realistically, or what I've found, the best way to kind of move across time and up my position sizing is through the means of progressive desensitization. How does that work out? It means that you edge yourself closer and closer to the finish and then you stop. No, what it means is that you do it so many times at your current level on the smaller level that you get bored with it. Or maybe bored is not the best word because that might have different implications, but you essentially are unemotionally affected by it. And when you feel that, that is where you want to be as a trader. That is the ideal mindset to be in, is a state of neutrality. You're not excited by your wins. You're not excited or not devastated by your losses, because you understand over time it's just going to even out into whatever statistical narrative that you've set up with your user-defined plan. Now, that also brings up the question, did you actually fucking do that? Because most people don't. And it's very, very frustrating to speak with someone, and they don't like their results, and it's just like, okay, so let me see the back testing results of your plan. Don't have them. Like, what the fuck? You're gonna put money at risk, and you haven't done that, like the bare fucking minimum. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyways, so there's the rant. There's a resolution. Progressively desensitize yourself by slowly ramping up to the point where when you do ramp up on your size, you still don't really feel too much. So it's going to be different for everyone, obviously, but I think a good rule of thumb is maybe like 5 to 10% more, maybe 5 to 10% more. That's probably going to register too much. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go, sir. What's up, Kendrick Camps? There he is. Oh, baby. Oh, fucking baby. No chart, just thoughts. Okay. For my first IPO, ARK, I actually want to bring this up. ARBK. All right. So this is Argo blockchain. All right. Oh, it's going to IPO today. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's see what the OTC version looks like. Oh, that's going to be good. Okay, anyways, you are saying on NASDAQ OTC trades through end of year, if I move my shares over, position gets cut down, 10-to-1 reverse split, pros, cons, stay or go. I don't know, because I've never actually had to deal with this myself. I never hold things for that long to the point where like I'd care about something like that. I don't know, man. I really don't know. So a healthy amount of I don't know what the right answer for you is. Now, personally speaking, I'd want the one that's going to go on actual on NASDAQ, because that's the one that's going to get played long term. That'd be my general rule. But is it worth it? I mean, it's going to be priced in, so it's probably going to be a moot point if I had to guess to begin with. as these things get priced in. But this chart's obviously bullish, and I imagine when they list on NAS, it's probably going to be pretty damn good as well. I'd personally want that one. But personal preferences there. I know that that's not too helpful, but I can't give you a good faith opinion because I don't really have one there. So yeah, man, sorry about that. Mile High Freedom, what's up, man? Hey, Krown, can you please check out SNDL? SNDL, okay. Sundial Growers, okay, definitely weed related. 4-hour and daily, maybe secret 12-hour chart. 12 hours not as relevant in traditional markets for what it's worth, but pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad. Holy shit, extremely bad. Is it going to bounce here? It might get another bounce here, but heavily bearish long term, especially as long as you're below about $1. This thing looks like shit. This thing looks like absolute fucking shit. I would change my opinion above $1. You know, maybe go on another one of these pump and dump schedules here, back up to like 220 or so. But this thing is just this thing is hanging on by a fucking thread, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing move down to like 44-45 cent. You know, around end of year maybe. Because our monthly just looks like garbage. You know, maybe if this month like regained 89 cents, maybe I might change my opinion, but I don't think that's what's happening here. Quarterly is kind of, I mean, not enough history really. There's going to be a bounce along the ways, but again, you know, even a bounce to 80 cents is just not good enough. Anything below, especially $1, is just another lower high to me, and very likely continuation back down to your prior range lows over time, if I had to guess. What's up, J3F? Good day. Good day, Doc. Hey, good day to you as well. Actually, we already did Luna, and I'll upload a video on it later as well. Just a brief second here, and let me just double check. Yeah, 4-hour. I'm bullish on this thing actually, short term for continuation, especially as long as you're above about what is it, $29.5 right here. And I'd probably be looking for this one to pop back above, pop back around about 36.5. Medium term, maybe after like a short term pullback. Let's see. The hourly is looking good right there, to be fair. Maybe I'm being a little bit too conservative on this one. Very, very bullish long term, back above about what was it, $38 or so. Monthly is what I'd be looking for the long term here, and yeah, anywhere above $38 by end of month is going to look very, very good. What's up, Mr. Important? Cello, yeah, we can do cello. Let me just see if I've already done this one or not. Cello, where you? Let's see, it's the 23rd today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god. Oh, that's right. But a lot of those were just psychological questions, which is good. I actually want to get more of those videos on my channel. Okay, where was I? Motherfucker. Cello, yeah. Do an update on this one or not? Pretty damn good here. Pretty damn good. Yeah. What's up? I'm just reading this one. All right, here we have cello, symbol CELO versus the dollar, and we have general continuation. And we've been doing videos on this one for the past few days. Very interesting chart right here. I mean, this one didn't really even correct with the rest of the market. I mean, it just holds all major moving averages, and I would be looking for this one to put in the next upside move, somewhere back around about $8, short, medium term. Speaking of the short term, yep, 4 hours just continuation, hidden bullish everyone's come off the last low right there. Volatility is starting to expand. 4-hour jewel also upside posturing. Imagine over here probably looking decent as well. 4-hour, yep, will be up as long as above 692. Or sorry, that's hourly. Jesus. 4 hour is going to be freshly up as long as above 616. Daily is going to be up as long as above 605. Yep, I'd be looking for this one short term, medium term, and long term to trade up. Short, medium term, somewhere around $7.5 to $8, where I'd be looking for the next maybe short term local high. However, on a daily, you know, $8.5, maybe even $9. Maybe this one even goes for new all time highs. On a closing basis, that is, before end of week. In fact, that's probably rather likely. Now, I would be having a full focus on the monthly closure here coming up in 7-8 days. Any sort of a closure here or higher, especially above $7, is going to look really, really good for new all-time highs, probably in October, maybe November. Let's see. We could actually come up with some areas of interest here too. Boy, it's starting to fail me right now as well. Let's see. Long term. Maybe in the deep teens long term, around like end of year of this one continue, which is one of the better charts certainly that we've seen recently. So not bad, man, not bad at all. All right, cool. Let's see. What's up, CCAS? It's too damn early. I'm tired. You must be in England. Let's see. What time is it right there? Maybe 7, sir. 5 a.m. wake up time, man. Good top of the morning to you as well, sir. Curve. Okay, 4-hour daily. Yeah, we have not done Cardano, so we can do Curve. Or sorry, we've not done Curve, so we can do Curve. Let's see. Yeah, this one not as interesting as a lot of the other ones, to be fair, but short term, does it try a little bit higher? Probably yes. Yeah, probably looking for a move back around about 260. Now, to be fair, still holds the higher lows, which is good. We have hidden bullish divergence potential here. No, we do not. We do not actually, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this one go for like 265 to 270 or so. I would invalidate this one and be bearish on it. Actually, very easily below about 240, especially on a full hour. Even just trading back down below about 230 would be pretty damn nasty as well. But I expect that this one does put in the bounce here and probably trades back up somewhere around about 270 and then come back to it a bit later. What's up, Dr. Colossus? CHSB was only recently listed on exchange that you looked at. Okay, looked at the Bitcoin pairing on KuCoin. All right, about that. The BTC is what you're looking at right here. All right. Okay. All good, man. All good. You know, again, when you're looking at a chart versus Bitcoin, I mean, this one actually generally trends up, which is actually a good sign over a long period of time. I'm not a humongous fan of it right here, but I do think it could very easily extend to about 1650 or so Satoshis. Full hour, I would invalidate that idea below about 1460 or so. But for right now, yeah, short term, medium term, very likely works way back up somewhere around 1600. I don't think that this one's like, I don't think it's bottoming out just yet. What the monthly looks like. Yeah, not a humongous fan of this one. I think at best it trades sideways within its current range between kind of where we're at right now, maybe even as much as 2,000 Satoshis the next couple of months. But I'm inclined to say this one at best holds on to its current lows. Short term though is very likely to rally back up to like 1600 or so, and then maybe come back to it in like what is it, October? Hey, what's up, Shell Wong? Shell Wong, SRM. Yeah, we can check that one out. It's at 4 hour only. Okay, Binance. Yeah, not getting as much love as some of the other SAM tokens here. Same, you know, assuming Bitcoin does kind of hit my next target, the upside, I'd probably be looking for this one back around $9. Now, here's where I'd become a lot more interested in this one, Shell Wong, is I'd want to see a 4 hour closure back above about $9. If it can do that, I'd extend targets significantly back up around 10 and a quarter, maybe even 10 and a half or so. But for right now, you know, we got some good signals here, and I do expect that it will try short term higher. Where would I invalidate this idea? Below about 780, I would invalidate this idea. For right now, though, give it the benefit of the doubt just because it's a SAM coin, and you know, a lot of those ones seem to be moving together right now. What does the monthly look like? Yeah, not too helpful, unfortunately. If you're just looking at the 4 hour, though, I do think it's going to test around there. The question is, does it close above there? If it closes above $9, that'll look very, very good for a move back up, probably into like the low 10s. Really, pretty damn good. Again, invalidation below about, what was it, 785, I think it was. Right here, yeah, about 780. Even on like an hourly, I'd say. Oh my god, man. Oh, my voice is starting to fail. I got more. What's up, Michael Stein? Can you check out Dane stock long term? What the fuck is long term, sir? For the love of God. All right, this thing is this it trades in Israel. Pretty fucking good. For the long term, actually, this is pretty damn simple. For the long term, extremely bullish as long as you're above about 64,740 shekels. If you call it, I don't know. Monthly a little bit toppy. So let's say that this thing does lose that level, which is what? Let's just say 65,000, whatever the denominating currency is here. I don't know. I actually would be looking for a much deeper retracement down at $57,000. But as long as that condition is not met, I do look at this as generally long-term continuation. I mean, a fucking aggressive chart, no doubt about that. But quarterly is going to be closing soon. This is still pretty damn good for what it's worth. Yeah, invalidation below about 65,000. And then a bit of a death spike, but for right now, decent. What's up, Solverine? Mind checking NEL. Okay, all right. Had a plan for months to bounce by 980, reaching if it happens. All right, let's check it out. Let's see what we got. Wait, no, I don't need to do that. I'm guessing it's this one, seen as you are Norwegian. Okay, you're gonna bounce by 690. I think if you're looking to buy the bounce, you actually got your opportunity right there at $12. That is a head and shoulders top by definition. And let's see what the measure move is on this one. Out of curiosity. Looks like I pretty much already did it before too. I mean, I think if it fails below $12, man, I don't think it's going to be stopping at 940. I think that this thing, you know, maybe gets its next monthly bounced around 8.25 to 850. It's kind of around, I guess, your area. But I happen to know that you are very long term. You know, even the quarterly, you know, maybe a bounce before that about 11.5. But this one is very obviously toppy right now. But I think if you're going to play the bounce, you kind of got your chance right there for the monthly, if that's the time frame you're operating off of, which sounds like you were. I don't see the relevancy of $9 there, to be honest with you. I think that I'm trying to see what you're seeing. No, I don't think I see it. Let me just double check. Yeah, 980. No, I don't think I see that. Doesn't mean that it can't bounce there, but I probably wouldn't be looking at it myself. I think this one's probably going to bounce from here, probably back up towards like 15.25, 15.5 or so, then come back to it after that. But this one, I do think is like very, very toppy long term. So you kind of playing with fire if you want to do the bounce buys, but you know, it can be done obviously. I mean, you had some pretty damn good history of that, so fair enough. Hey, what's up, Chase? Thanks for that, man. Just a nice positive message. I appreciate that. All right, let's do a little wrap up for Bitcoin, and then I'm gonna go eat, man, because my voice is wrecked right now. Absolutely fucking wrecked. Go over here. All right. Okay. Boom. Get that on the daily because I do want to talk about that and get that up right there. Lovely. And let's get Bitcoin over here as well. Yes. We want right here. All right. Here we have Bitcoin on versus the dollar, actually, I should say. I want to follow up on yesterday and the day prior than that analysis, as we did get our test down into the first level on the PMARP that I have marked off at about 5 right there. And right now we are bouncing off that level, as we did say was likely. We are getting our bounce to our target that we did say was likely from yesterday to about 44,500. I will actually extend that target somewhat significantly if the next set of conditions are met. But first I want to talk about this because typically speaking, off of a test from the shallower region of this, we have seen some pretty nice moves. Obviously the last one was the confirmation of this bear trap over here, just barely kind of grazed it. But even on this one right here, you know, from closure to next high was about a 15, almost 20% move actually. A few more times other than that, we did see back over here in January 2021 and almost an immediate 20% move, and then obviously extended for, you know, more than 100% over time. Same thing over here in this reaccumulation within the context of a general upside move, about 15 to 20%, and then, you know, about 100% obviously. And then we have, you know, several other examples where it was not a continuation move, by the way, but still did produce some nice bounces, of which I do want to highlight, even on these failures thus far, which were, you know, 35% move right there. Not necessarily say that's a failure, but you know what I mean. We have the same thing over here, this one going for about 30%, you know, so on and so forth. Anyways, for right now, off of that current level, how high have we seen from closure to current level? About 8.5%. Let's just play around with numbers for a second. Where would 20% net us? 20% would actually net us back above Bitcoin's last prior lower high at about 48,000 bucks. And that actually is my technical condition for confirming a bear trap on this price action. Once again, getting, you know, bullish for a trending move to, you know, the deeper $50,000 territory. And it's always going to be available right there. It's the most likely thing to happen. Wouldn't necessarily say so right now, but there are a lot of things to be aware of for what it's worth here. The 4 hour on CME specifically has that same sort of bait and switch on a potential death cross right here, which I love playing these sort of things. Not as a death cross actually, but if we do start to see a closure back above 45,300 or even 45,200, even just 45,000 would probably be good enough as well. I would extend short and medium term targets all the way up to just under 47,000 bucks. Of course, that is not going to get Bitcoin back above its prior $48,000 lower high, but it would look good. And we do see that short term timeframes are looking good right here for continuation, or sorry, I should say medium term timeframes. 4 hour BBWP is expanding significantly right there. 4 hour Jewel did catch the low actually rather well and is continuing as well. Now, do we maybe see a bit of a very, very short-term time frame pullback? Definitely possible. If it does happen, somewhere down to the low $43,000 territory is completely fine. I would not invalidate this idea, especially as long as Bitcoin is above about 43,000 bucks on a 4 hour closing basis for what it's worth. Anyways, going back on over here, I do want to point out that Bitcoin daily Stokes will actually cross back onto the upside with any sort of closure today above 44.4. If that does happen, I'd feel very comfortable targeting at the very least 45.5, or yeah, about 45.5, with potential to extend all the way up to basically 47,000 bucks. And personally speaking, that is what I think is going to happen. Regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish here, you know, assuming that the invalidation point does not get hit below about 43,000 bucks. Anyways, did I get everything else that I wanted to say right there? No, not yet. Okay, so I also want to combine this with analysis on traditional markets as well. Obviously, we were following NASDAQ for the last few days, and we did get our confirmation of a local low right here. And this also does have hidden bullish evidence, and I expect that this one will make a move, again, regardless of whether you're bullish, somewhere around about 15.3 15,350 or so, which is good and very likely does bode well for Bitcoin as it does kind of trade with the tech sector. So with that in mind, going back to Bitcoin over here, sorry, I also forgot to follow up on this as well. Bitcoin did on CME close back above the 200 simple right here. To me, this is very, very important as well. Very likely does indicate continuation somewhere around. One's actually suggesting a little bit higher than what I said on the medium-term timeframes, but that actually said just below 46. And then, of course, we do see that if we go down to the lower-term timeframes over here. Actually, no, we already spoke about that. Okay, let's go to regular charts. We did close a 5-day yesterday. How does it look? Not really giving us too much. I mean, this thing can trade within a 5-day range between where we're at right now and all the way up to 47 or so. Again, be aware of where the conditions do change. I would feel very comfortable calling a bear trap above $48,000, especially on a 12-hour or daily closure. Until then, short-term timeframes very likely do rally up here. And if we go back on over here, just playing off the fibs, as we did say was likely yesterday, a bounce off the 382 on a wick basis very likely does lead up towards a test of the 618, and that actually is $45,000. And of course, $45,000 does have bleed on over effects into what we looked at on the shorter medium-term timeframes. If that happens, I would extend targets to about $47,000 or so, maybe for like a day or two, and then come back to it after that. For right now, I wouldn't say that the downside is necessarily over. Of course, just short-term, medium-term, very likely bounce continuation after maybe an extremely short-term time frame pullback. With $43,000 is kind of like the line in the sand, even for the short-term time. In line with the 0.5 right there. If we were to use closing bases, by the way. Anyways, with that said, I think that is enough for Bitcoin for right now. Nice little day of bouncy bounce, and I'd essentially say that the boolah hopium of of a bit of a bear trap going on right here will be is very much alive as long as we're above about $43,000. I also want to point this out as well. Of course, you got your boolah moons coming in once again, because the moons know all, and the moons know where the boolahs do lie. So fair enough. That would be, I guess, it's been a pretty damn consistent thing over the last year. Again, just backtest yourself and come up with your own opinion. But from my backtesting of that, funnily enough, just seems to work out. One of those weird things. And again, just kind of like talking in general market psychology right here. It's very interesting because I do recall, or it's not that I recall, I do see a lot of people calling for or waiting for $38,000, which I don't think is necessarily. I mean, it's not that it's unlikely to happen. It's just a lot of people are waiting for a bottom right here. Whether they were bullish or bearish before like the next major bounce. Well, whenever you see something like that, one of two things typically happens. You either get front ran or you get overshot. And in this case, it's a clear and obvious front run. And to be honest with you, if Bitcoin did come down to $38,000, well, I do think that there would be a bounce there. I think that it would just be just a failed bounce before continuation lower. To me, it's either here at $40,000 or Bitcoin comes all the way down to $32,000 to $33,000, way back down around here. Tries to put in a macro low from there. Until then, I do not really see the relevancy of $38,000 other than it's just the last daily prior low. And almost never do I see a double bottom workout for the long term. For short term, yes. For long term, very, 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 very few situations of that. So in this case right here, the boolahs kind of keep their hopium alive for a little bit longer, which is good if you want to be bullish here. And then we'll come back tomorrow and see where we're at. By the way, perfect bounce off the 200 simple on the 12 hour as well. Should just be identified right there. And yeah, with that said, I'm going to be signing off now. Take care, and hopefully this was helpful. See you soon. All right, nice one, sirs and zers. I'm going to be signing off now. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. My voice is a little bit more erect than usual, so time to eat some steak and some eggs. And with that said, I salute you. Until next time, take care, everyone.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it,